What is going on, everyone? This is Ninja Geek here. Welcome back to the new year, my first video of 2019. And to kick it off, we are going to be talking about my personal opinion on the future additions / changes that need to come to Red Dead 2 Online. And to kick it off, I kind of put this into different categories. So there's two different categories. There's the addition category and then the changes / fixes category, just so that it's more organized, so that it's more understandable to the developers at Rockstar if they watch this video. And also, as a pre-note, I did send all of this feedback that I have written down here because it's a lot, so I had to write it down, make sure I cover every single point that I wanted to get across. And I did send all of this feedback to Rockstar support, so they already got my side of the feedback, and hopefully you can send your feedback to them as well. I'll probably leave a link in the description below if you want to send them your personal feedback, because they do have a support website where you can do that, and let them know what you feel should happen to Red Dead Online. And you could also let me know what you think about my opinions down in the comments below. But we are going to start it off here with the additions to Red Dead Online, and we're just going to go, and there's no really specific order. That's not like, oh, this needs to happen first, second, third, I would like this to happen in a specific order. It's literally just listed, and everything here is really top priority. So the first thing here is to add in private matches. Now, some of these things on both of these lists are going to be things that have been found in game code and probably are most likely going to happen, and other things are wish lists that we really haven't seen happen yet, so we're not entirely sure. But either way, I think that private matches was found to be in the actual game. It's great to see that Rockstar is going to be adding in private matches in the future. We just don't know when. I assume it's going to be coming very, very soon, though, as far as the new 2019 early update after the new year. And the second thing that I have on this list is the ability to permanent parlay at any point from the side menu. So obviously, just like GTA Online had their parlay system as in a passive mode where it would disable all weapons, I would like to see this sort of system come into Red Dead Online, because as it is right now, and we obviously do have a note from Rockstar saying that they are going to put in some griefer preventative measures in come 2019, so that update should be coming very soon. But as it is right now, we don't have those measures, and we also have some other things to talk about on this list that are going to help that as well. But basically, we don't have any of these measures, or countermeasures, I should say, to griefers, and it's easy just for them to go around and kill you without really anything you can do. And obviously, after they kill you 3 times, I believe it is, you get to choose to make a parlay with them, which is really what the word means. But it only lasts, I believe, for 10 minutes, and then after that it goes off. So 10 minutes is, you know, it's a good time, but still, it's not really the best of all things considering what griefers do anyway. So I think that there needs to either be some rework in that system, or there needs to be some kind of passive mode ability, as we've seen in GTA Online. Hopefully we get some added stranger missions in the future around the map, because there are a decent amount of stranger missions, and I feel like the reason why they didn't add in more, at least at the start, is because stranger missions give you good amount of rewards, and they're probably one of the best ways to earn money in Red Dead Online. And so, because of that, they didn't want to make them really close together so you can go from one to the next really easily and just get a lot of rewards. So they spread them out fairly equally, but I feel like there's still not a lot of stranger missions. Like, they're really spread out, and they need to just add in a few more in a few more locations. It would be awesome. I don't remember if I actually put it on this list, but it would be awesome to add in some new stranger missions and locations based on characters, obviously, from the single player. And as we already know, Red Dead Online takes place before the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 anyways. So they could even add in some popular characters from the story mode, like Sadie, of course. I don't think we have a mission with her in Online. They could add in an Arthur mission. They could even do Dutch. They could do Micah. They could do so many other different main character story missions in Online, just because the Online takes place way before. Well, not way before. Actually, it takes place right at the start, right before Red Dead 2, the story mode takes place, which is a little bit different from GTA Online, because I believe it was confirmed that GTA Online takes place around 6 months entirely before that storyline took place. But this game, it's like right up to the point, like literally within a few days from the start of the Red Dead Redemption 2 story. So that would be pretty cool if we had some of those stranger missions added into the map. We need more story missions. Obviously, I think this is a big one that is going to be coming to online. There are very few story missions, and you don't really get a lot from the story missions, which we're probably going to talk about, but the story missions themselves, there's really not a lot of them, and the way that they left off the online story leaves more to be continued, so I can almost guarantee that we're going to be seeing more story missions, but I hope that that update as well comes soon into online, because I think that the story missions are really what carries the online mode, and some of them are really, really fun to play through again. But overall, right now with the amount of content that we have in Red Dead Online, it's really just kind of boring to have the same. I think there's only like 6 or 7, maybe 8 missions in total, including the honorable and dishonorable missions, the 2 honorable and 2 dishonorable missions that come with being the certain honor level that you are. So there's really not a lot of story mode content in online, and I guess you could say, oh, if you want to play story mode, they have the story mode there. But still, I feel like there could be more missions that are added into that. And I also feel like they should add in a call in the law option, if you will. And this is something that's also similar to GTA Online, where you can call in the emergencies and emergency services rather, and you can call in the police, fire department, etc. And they will come to the location pretty much where you were at the time of that call. And they pretty much just go there. I don't really know what the purpose of that was in GTA Online. Now, I think that really it was just kind of like there as a fun service. But in Red Dead Online, I think that they can make something like that more useful. Now, obviously, you know, we're not going to have driving police cars, and they're going to know where we are. And also, it doesn't really make entirely sense in the terms of the story perspective, because obviously, there was no phones and no services back then like that, where you can just call in anything and the police would respond like that, because we're obviously in the year 1899. However, I feel like this feature would benefit Red Dead Online a lot, because right now, the way that it is with the services and how limited it is, it wouldn't be something that's too far-fetched, but at the same time, it would be something that's pretty fun. Like, you know, you could call in the law and they will just come on horseback to the area that you were, similar to like GTA Online. Or you can even have some kind of like mode where it's like the mercenaries in GTA Online, where you can call in mercenaries on, or a mercenary on a player, and they will basically try and attack them and you know, hopefully succeed, and if not, then if not. But you can do something like that in Red Dead Online as well, where you can call in maybe like an outlaw gang on them. So you could have these 2 different options there that would just give a lot more diversity into the game. And aside from it being like fun features, I think that it would also be great, because a lot of the times, you know, like let's say you're in Valentine and you get griefed. Obviously, that person's probably most likely going to get the law attracted to them because they're right in a major city. But if they're in the middle of nowhere down in New Austin, it's a pretty big, difficult feat to be able to get on the law down there, unless you're in like a major city, of course. But if you're like just out in the middle of nowhere and you're minding your own business hunting, and somebody comes up to you and just murders you out of nowhere while you're skinning an animal, which has happened to me several times, they pretty much won't even get on the law. There's really nothing that happens to them unless they keep doing it over and over and over again, and they're really, really bad. Then I think that they'll get attracted to law. But I think that this would just be a great feature overall added into the game. The next thing is a big one, and I think that this one has also been found in game code as well. But online mode needs houses, or pretty much property, to purchase. The campsite that they give you is the worst thing ever, and it always moves around no matter what you do. So if you join a new session, it could be in a completely new spot than where you have it. And keep in mind, at this point in time, I do have my own permanent posse that I created, in which you create a campsite that is located in the location that you started in when you buy the posse option. And when I did that, I put it near Saint Denis because in Saint Denis, there's a lot of things that you can do there, that most of the shops that you can access are there, so I figure I put it there. However, the campsite always moves around for me no matter where I put it, and it costs money to move it back. And at the campsite, there's really nothing special that you can do. The best thing that you can do is obviously you can wash your face, you can grab a couple of beers, and there's also the campfire option there, which is unique too. But you can also use the campfire anywhere else that it allows you to. So you don't need to go to your campsite at all. And there's really no reason for it, but besides that fact, I feel like it would add in another diverse aspect into Red Dead Online if we were able to purchase property or houses. Now, I feel like it would be great. I don't think that they're going to do this, but I'm going to mention it anyways. I feel like it would be great if they added in the ability to purchase the property with just the land itself, and then you could buy house materials and build it yourself, maybe at a cheaper cost, and it would take more time to build the house, but it would be a unique thing because then you could build the house as far as how you want from this catalog of supplies and stuff. Or you can just buy a property with a house already on it, but it costs a lot more than if you were to build a house yourself. But either way, properties still need to come into online, and I feel like they are going to come into online. And I think that this is a much needed feature because really the only thing that we have now besides the campsite is the stables, where you can customize the different horses that you have there, and you do pay a stable upkeep fee, but it's really not any kind of property that you would own per se. So I think that this is a huge change that would be the most successful in Red Dead Online. And obviously, to go along with the houses, this was also in the game code as well, but we need to have different wagons to buy, and it would be also cool because if you go hunting or fishing, you could be able to buy different types of wagons to store the different pelts and different carcasses that you want to throw in the back there, and you could probably find other uses to use the wagons in Red Dead Online as well. But yeah, so I feel like those two major changes would be great in Red Dead Online. I feel also like this would kind of desensitize the ability to fast travel within the game itself, but as most of you know right now, if you want to fast travel, it costs money, but if you want to get to somewhere quickly, you just join a new session near the area in the state that you want to go to. However, I feel like they should make it so that you can spawn into any major city, because really, I feel like by doing it the way that the game does it right now, where you have to spawn in the state and then travel to the city. Now, granted, it's not a huge far away, but if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, if you want to spawn in New Austin and you want to go to Armadillo, or actually, let's say you want to spawn in New Austin, you want to go to Tumbleweed, but the game spawns you all the way to the east on like the other side near the actual lake that's there, near Flatiron Lake, then you would have to travel all the way across, even though you wanted to spawn in New Austin. But I feel like if the game, in the little options menu right where you can spawn into the states, I feel like if they gave you the option to spawn into all the major towns like Strawberry, Valentine, Tumbleweed, Blackwater Road, Saint Denis, etc., then it would be a lot better because you would just be able to get right into where you're going. And then from there, then you could obviously, they have the option to fast travel, but really, I think that option is useless. The only reason I fast travel is to really stay in the posse that I'm in with my friends, and so that we don't have to disband. But that was really before I created the temporary posse the permanent posse. Now that I have a permanent posse, it doesn't really matter because I could join a new session, invite them, and they're already in the posse, so I don't have to go through the process of recreating one and all that stuff in the menus. So I feel like the fast travel option is pretty much useless, and I don't even know why it should be there in the first place, because we already spend enough money on things in the game as it is right now, and we want to spend more on different items, but we shouldn't really have to spend money on fast traveling. And I get it, there are costs with moving from place to place, but when I could just join a different lobby for free, I think that option would be a lot more consumer friendly than the fast travel system. And these next things are obviously, one of them is actually one I already mentioned, but these next two things are really things that are going to come with time. They're not going to be anywhere near in the near future, I don't think. but they are things to look forward to, I hope, in the future of Red Dead Redemption 2, the story mode and online as a whole. So obviously with Red Dead 1, we had one of the best DLCs ever, and that was the Undead Nightmare. And pretty much I want the Undead Nightmare to return here in Red Dead 2, as I think many of you do as well. And what I mean by that is the story mode aspect. I would love a story mode Red Dead 2 Undead Nightmare Part 2, whatever they want to call it. But then also, aside from the story mode, which is going to be definitely separate from the main story mode, it can just be like a, a huge, not as big of a game, obviously, as Red Dead 2, but it can be enough of a story mode to be considered a DLC, and then along with that, the online modes can come in for free with the Undead Nightmare DLC and have all of the modes that they had during Red Dead 1, like that, I forget what they actually called it, but the survival game modes where you fight off hordes of the undead and all that type of stuff. Very amazing DLC back in Red Dead 1, and I hope to see that come in Red Dead 2. And obviously, I think this next one is without a doubt going to happen sometime, but it is the bank robbery heist. Obviously, in GTA Online, we've seen a lot of heist missions come to the game. Way after its launch, and I feel like that's going to be the same with Red Dead 2. I mean, in the story mode, you can do a lot of well, not a lot, I should say, but with extra content if you bought the Ultimate, or I think it was with the Ultimate Edition. If you bought that, you got the bank heist or the extra mission, whatever it was. And they already have the assets in the game anyways to do a bank heist. They already have, everything that they would need to do it. They would just have to add it in online and add it in a cool way. So, and they could do it just pretty much like GTA Online, where you do like the setup missions for the bank robbery heist, and then you actually do the bank robbery heist. And I feel like this would not only obviously give players an incentive to do it, because you would get a ton of money from it because it would take a long time to do the setups and all that stuff, but it would also be a ton of fun, because right now in Red Dead Online, there's really nothing that you can do like that. You can't even hold up a store if you wanted to, so I feel like it would give that aspect of it, and it would also kind of, in a way, not entirely, but it would kind of be a way to get away from griefing and be an anti-griefing measure, because you'd have more outlawish things to do in the game, besides just go hunting and fishing and all that stuff that's in the game already. It would give, players more options to do within the game, which I think that would be great. But obviously, I don't think that that's going to happen for a long time. And the last thing I have here added into the additions into the game is the mission. So like I said before, we have these different stranger missions, which could be with main characters of the game, but we can also have like regular, maybe even story missions that include regular members of the game, like Dutch, Arthur, John, Sadie, etc., because obviously Red Dead Online takes place shortly before the Red Dead 2 story, and I've already mentioned that. So now we are going to be getting onto the fixes/changes list. So this one is going to be very important, because all these things can be done in the very near future, because they are already things that are in the game. They just need to be changed or fixed in some way. So obviously the first thing that I'm going to say is change the way that gold works. Now, I know right now, at least as far as I can remember, obviously the gold bars are now purchasable in Red Dead Online, and a lot of people are upset because it's microtransactions, and you could basically purchase things with gold bars, and some things you could buy with gold bars even if you're not the right rank that it requires to unlock them, and a lot of people are upset, and yada yada, the list goes on and on. But I do plan to make a separate video specifically regarding microtransactions in Red Dead Online, and kind of settle the ease with that, but that's really not what this video is about. What I'm talking about in the gold system is the way that it pretty much works. So right now in the game, obviously, if you complete a mission, or if you earn another reward that you already reset the rewards for, you earn very little gold nuggets. You never earn like a gold bar, 2 gold bars, like you don't earn that type of gold. You just earn the little nuggets. But things in the store cost actual bars. There's nothing that costs like 4 gold bars and 36 nuggets. Like, there's nothing that costs like that, like regular cash would. It's literally just increments of 1. So something, for example, that could be a lot of money could be, if you're not the right rank, it could be 40, 50 gold bars right now in the game. But something that's as little as like a pair of gloves that are $10, we'll say. And let's say you're not the right rank yet, so you want to spend some gold nuggets on it. Now, obviously, at that point, if it was a lower rank and it was, something that was a pair of $10 gloves, I'd probably wait just to unlock it. But let's say that you didn't want to do that and you wanted the gold glove or the gloves right now, you would have to spend the set amount of gold on it. You'd have to spend 1 gold bar on a $10 item, or you can spend something that's a little bit higher, maybe like a $30 or $40 item still with 1 gold bar, and that really makes no sense. Why should a $10 pair of gloves be equivalent to something that costs maybe $20 or $30 that's still 1 gold bar each? So I feel like they should utilize the nugget system a lot better, but what I mean by that is kind of split it up as you earn it. So maybe a pair of gloves that's like $10 in the store could cost 0.28 gold nuggets. That way you don't have to spend a full-on gold bar, even though you're still earning nuggets in the game. Like, the nugget system, it's like it works halfway. Like, yeah, you're getting these gold nuggets as you play the game, but as it progresses on and on, the gold nuggets are so little of what you're actually earning, and then you're spending a lot more than what the actual item should be costing in a gold bar equivalent form. So I feel like they should change it to that system. And obviously, gold bars are really meant to be the microtransaction system, but also some things can only be purchased in gold bars in Red Dead Online. So it really would take effect if they did use the nugget system along with the bar system and make it so that things cost this gold bar and this many nuggets, or just this many nuggets for the smaller things. That way you give things more of the appropriate price range. So the next thing I have to talk about is the story missions, and we've already discussed this in the additions part, that they should add more in, but story missions need to really be changed. They need a huge big rework. Sorry, I'm reading off this list here. Story missions need a bigger monetary reward, because as they have it in the game right now, they really take around between maybe 5 minutes if you are really good at the story mission, or depending on what mission it is, 5 minutes to maybe 15 minutes if you're, kind of slow and not really doing that well in the game. And you earn between around 100 to maybe 200, maybe 250 if you're lucky per mission, which was actually cut down. You used to earn around 400, 300, 400 XP-ish, but they actually cut it down for some reason, which doesn't make any sense at all, because the story missions take up the most time in Red Dead Online. I mean, aside, obviously, of course, if you're, like, hunting or whatever, that's activity is going to take a lot longer, but as far as, like, comparing it to stranger missions, story missions obviously take longer, but stranger missions, for some reason, give you more XP, and sometimes a bigger cash payout than the story missions. So really, with the way that it is right now, stranger missions are the best thing to do. Now, the only downside to stranger missions are that you actually have to travel to the location to start the stranger mission, and be lucky if when you get there, if it even works, because half the time the stranger missions in this game are broken, because they will be on the map as lit up as pink or red or whatever, and you'll go to them, and then they'll say, sorry, we don't have anything for you right now, and it's like, okay, well, now I just wasted my time traveling all the way because I thought that you had a stranger mission, whereas the story missions, you could just start up from the side menu or from the main menu on call, and you could just go into any story mission you want. But the more that you play the consistent story missions, you get less of a payout, and that includes XP as well. So you can get less XP and less money for continuing to play similar missions if you keep getting into the same mission over and over again. And if you play the mission for too long because you keep dying, you also get way less of a reward, because I remember one time our team died and we lost all of our lives. We spawned back in and we finished the mission, and I got 4 XP and 34 cents for 15-ish minutes of my time, which is a complete waste, and that should never happen. So I feel like the story missions should pay out a lot more in terms of XP and money, because I mean, maybe in the future, if they want to, do this change, if they want to make the story missions just a tad bit longer to compensate for it, I would understand that. But the way that it is right now, the story missions are the main thing that players are supposed to do, and it's not really happening. The stranger missions are more prevalent because you get more XP and money from them every single time that you manage to do a stranger mission over a story mission. So I feel like with the stranger missions, you usually get around between $10 and $20 and around 250 XP, which is, pretty good for a stranger mission depending on what it is. Some of them are more tedious than other ones, of course. They can range in a wide variety of ways, but usually that is a good payout. But story missions usually get the same almost, or usually typically less than that. So I feel like story missions should at least give you the same XP that it did before they patched it, like the 400 whatever XP, but also maybe instead of getting between $10 and $20 like a stranger mission, you maybe get between 40 or 30 to 50-ish depending on the mission and depending on how long it is. And I feel like that way it would incentivize a lot more people to play the story missions. And of course, if you add in more story missions, it would even incentivize it greater, because the way it is right now, they're really not that prevalent in the game. And I understand that Rockstar doesn't want you to grind the same missions over and over and over and over again, but at the same time, I think that they need to have a fairer compromise than the way that they have it now, with the way that I earn 4 XP and 34 cents for people, for our team, who I didn't even know, and we weren't even in a posse. I was just on a story mission on call, and we lost our lives, and then I got 4 XP and 34 cents. Maybe what they should do is penalize the actual people that die instead of of everyone getting the same reward. So like if I play the story mission and there's 3 other people with me, and a person dies 3 times, or 2 people die the 2 times, and we lose our lives and we have to restart at the checkpoint, then when we finish the mission, they get the lower payout, which should never be 4 XP and 34 cents. It should be a little bit higher than that anyways, but then I get the regular payout if I did not die during that mission. It should be player-based, not really team-based in that way. So I think that change needs to happen overall to story mode. The next one is sort of a little... I guess it's a glitch in a way, where pelts and carcasses will disappear on your horse, and if you die from some random player at all, or if your horse gets too far away from you, and then you try and find your horse again, and then when it trots back to you, suddenly all of your hard work is gone. So what do I mean by this? Well, hunting and not really so much fishing, because you catch the fish there and you just put them in your satchel, and you always have the fish on you. But when you're hunting and you're collecting pelts, you put the pelts on the back of your horse. And that's, obviously what you'd expect to happen. I wouldn't really expect it to fit every single pelt in my satchel, so you put them on your horse along with the animal carcasses. Now, the problem is with the griefers out there, sometimes they will kill me while I'm hunting, and I'll lose the carcass that I have, because I couldn't put it on the back of my horse, or the pelts that I do have on the back of my horse currently will disappear if I get too far away from my horse, or if I have to call in my horse again. Now, I understand if I am in a lobby and then I go to switch to another lobby and I have pelts on the back of my horse, that those pelts would disappear because I'm obviously changing a lobby, but within the same game, the pelts that I collected and spent time for should never disappear like they do now. They literally disappear for no reason at all, and like I said, sometimes I'm literally doing nothing, and a player will come up and kill me, and my horse will be too far away from me, and when I call it back in again, or try and run up to it, the pelts will disappear. Things like that should never happen, where the pelts disappear. Sometimes I'll be hunting and I'll get a little too far away from my horse, even just by myself, and then I'll go run back up to my horse or call it back in, and the pelts will disappear. And no pelts should disappear at all, or carcasses, if you're in the same lobby that you were when you collected them. That should be a huge fix. The incoming patch immediately, in other words. So the next thing that I have to say is during the missions where the rival players can attack the cart or steal the bags or whatever the thing is, the objective is, there should be a huge penalty for doing that, because I've had one posse come before where we were actually delivering mail bags, and I was only in a posse of 2, which you can obviously have up to more players than that, but they gave us 4 bags to deliver for some reason, which doesn't make sense at all. I think that they should give you the amount that are in the posse itself, even if they have to divide it so that I can deliver 2 bags and then my friend can deliver 2 bags, even if it's that way. But they shouldn't make it so that, there are 4 bags there and I can only carry 1 and he can only carry 1. So there are 2 open bags lying on the ground, and then some rival posse just comes over, steals the bags. But not only that, they don't really try to deliver it to the location to get part of the money. They just pretty much grief us. They steal the bags and then they wait for us to come back, and then they just keep killing us over and over again, and we're in this huge battle fight. I think that people who do that or try and steal it should get a huge penalty. Now, Rockstar Games actually encourages people to steal this stuff, because obviously why would they put it in the game? That wouldn't make any sense, because obviously on the map, if you're in one of these little stories, stranger missions I should say, it'll say rival players are on the map. It'll literally put your location there in bright red, and players can then steal or attack your supplies or kill you or grief you and stuff like that. And I don't think that it seems almost in a way like Rockstar promotes it, and I feel like you should get a huge penalty. As soon as you do that, you should literally drop to the lowest honor. Maybe that's, not, I mean, as we're going to talk about in just a minute, honor doesn't really mean anything right now in the game, but I feel like you should drop to the lowest honor, and you should lose some chunk of cash for doing it after the mission is then over. After we fail it or we complete it or whatever the case is, after we do that, the griefers who tried to attack us should lose some cash. Now, not hundreds of thousands, of course, but, maybe $10, $20, because that right there is a whole stranger mission and they interrupted with mine, so pretty much just take the cash away from them. I feel like that way it wouldn't make people so incentivized to go try and attack you every single time that you're trying to actually make some kind of money. Now, the next thing that I have to go talking about here is pretty much the honor system. Now, there's a lot of things in this honor system, and I'm looking over it right now because it's just a huge list, and pretty much everything I have to talk about remaining in this video is completely about the honor system. So, the honor system in campaign, or in story mode, makes sense because upon your actions, upon being honorable, you get the more noble cinematics, you actually get price reductions at stores, and you get a lot more things for being honorable as you do with being dishonorable. You get more shameful cinematics, and a lot more negative things happen to you in the story mode. But in the online, the system, it does not matter whether you are honorable or dishonorable, period. The only thing that you do is you unlock missions for being both honorable and dishonorable. So if you get to an honorable state, you get the 2 missions. When you become dishonorable, you get 2 more missions. But beyond that, the honor system means absolutely nothing, and it makes no sense to have a high honor in the game. Now, first of all, I forget the person or the guy that you can actually go to increase or decrease your honor using gold bars, but that person is a complete waste. I mean, first of all, here's the thing. If you want to increase your honor fast or decrease your honor fast, all you have to do to increase it is really go hunting. And fishing as well. Both of those things will increase your honor a lot by collecting the pelts and collecting the carcasses and the fish and all that stuff. And if you want to decrease your honor fast, obviously just go around shooting people. It makes complete sense, and it would take a little bit longer, yes, but also, besides that fact, having whatever honor means nothing besides unlocking those 2 missions, so it literally means nothing. So why would you spend gold bars at that, even cash, to increase or decrease your honor? So that makes no sense. So now I'm going to get into the changes about what I think high honor should do and what I think low honor should do. So having a high honor should give you just a small 5% discount on all items, meaning like on all, items in the general store, in the clothing store, in whatever department that you want to go on, and just a 10% discount on weapons and ammunition. And the reason why just on weapons and ammunition, and by the way, I don't mean that the 10% stacks with the 5%, I just mean a flat out 10% discount on weapons and ammunition, is because if you're high honor, you're less likely to do bad things with the weapons and the ammunition that you purchase. You're most likely going to use it for hunting or in other story missions and etc. But people that do it obviously in a griefing way, they use the weapons in a bad way. So I think that giving the discount for the high honor players would make it, would incentivize people that are obviously bad to become a high honor. The next thing about high honor is it should award a small 5% increase of XP and cash earnings at the end of missions. Now, this could be story missions, this could be stranger missions, or both. I think it should be both, but a small 5% increase in those. It wouldn't give you like a whole lot more money, but it would give you just a little bit of an edge to want to become a high honor. Obviously, high honor, I feel like you should still obviously have the stable fees and the whatever fees that the game gives you, but you should have lower stable fees and lower other fees in the game. I feel like periodically high honor should gift you some items in the mailbox from shop vendors or the town or the law just for being good. So for example, if you've been high honor for a long time and you just go around hunting or whatever, maybe if it'll pop up on your screen, you have something waiting for you at the mailbox, and you go there, and then the town actually grants you some ammo because you've been hunting, so they're like, here, have some ammo on us, or little tiny gifts like that. It would just make you want to become more high honor more of the time. High honor should also give you a 5%, like a small 5% increase value on every good sold to a shop vendor. So, meaning, like, if I have some pelts and I go to the butcher and I want to sell the pelts or the carcass or whatever, if I'm high honor, I should get more of a little 5% cash bonus just for being high honor and being good, that you're using the weapons in a good way, that you're pretty much being a good civilian, that you get a little bit of an increase, and that would also incentivize people to become high honor. And I also think that having high honor should make the law respect you more, and less of a chance of becoming wanted for doing minor crimes. Now, obviously, you're still going to become wanted if you kill someone, but at minor crime, meaning like if you're pointing your gun at somebody, then you're less likely going to be attracted by the law for antagonizing someone. But obviously, if you kill them, then, or whether that's a real player or an NPC, then you still would get on the law. So I feel like those changes to the high honor system, or the honor system in general, will make a lot of people more incentivized to become high honor. However, I do have the other fact, and that is the low honor. So it's pretty much just like a reflection of the high honor, but in the opposite way. So having complete low honor in the game, or having a much low honor in the game, not saying 100% low, but even having just a very little low honor in the game, lower than an average normal stance, you should be given a small 5% increase price and a flat out 10% increase price on all weapons and ammunition, and a 5% increase meaning like on the general items and the clothes and stuff like that, just because you're being bad, and a 10% increase on all weapons and ammunition because obviously you're using the weapons in a terrible way. So if you want to purchase them, you can, but you're going to have to pay a higher price, and that makes sense. The low honor should give you increased stable fees, so beyond the fact that high honor gets the lower ones, you should get increased ones. So instead of maybe $1 or $1.25 or $1.75 or whatever the horse stable fee is, then maybe they charge you like $2, $2.25, $2.50 for the fee instead. That way, it'll take more money out for being a low honor. Also, low honor should give you a small 5% decreased value on every good sold to a shop vendor. So to continue on the butcher story, if you bring a pelt or a carcass or whatever, they give you 5% less cash than they would normally give you. For continuous bad behavior and griefing, that obviously means like if you keep killing a player over and over again, if you keep hunting down rival posse and their missions and stuff like that, they should just completely take some cash away from the player, just as in when I was talking about the rival posse mission and how they should take chunks of cash away from them for griefing. I feel like this should be, in general, something that should happen because it would incentivize people to not grief all the time, pretty much, and not really incentivize people to not have a low honor, but really to just stop people from killing each other all the time. And having low honor should also make the law more attractive to you. So let's say you enter a town and you have low honor, even if you're doing absolutely nothing, like you're not hurting anyone, the law could have a small potential chance to see you and say like, hey, that man was wanted or found in Blackwater down there, and like they have wanted reports here, so let's get him, and then they get the wanted law after you. I feel like that would be good because then you'd be pretty much all of these things on the low honor list give you a less incentivized chance to want to be low honor, and the high honor things give you a more incentivized chance to be high honor. Now, all of these changes, all of these major changes, I will say, to the honor system would make everyone really want to be honorable. Now, some people, I could say, would argue that this isn't really good because then what's the point of having an honor system if, everyone wants to be honorable? Some people might want to be dishonorable, but here again, I think that if people still want to go around killing people and whatever, the game doesn't literally force you not to do it. It's just giving you penalties for doing it. So, and some people might say, oh, well, that's forcing you. But in reality, high honor should give you more incentivized reasons to be high honor. There should be a reason behind being high honor, and being low honor, you should get penalized for it. You should not go around having the lowest honor in the game, just going around killing people, and it literally means absolutely nothing to your status and in the game in general. And I think it would also be a huge fix. It would also be an anti-griefing measure in the game with the public lobbies, that with the thought of one person, obviously going around and gunning a lot of people or posses down. And right now, pretty much essentially, online doesn't reward you for having any sort of honor at all, whether high or low. Obviously, you don't want to get rewarded. You want to get penalized. It doesn't penalize you for having low honor. It doesn't reward you for having high honor. So what's the point of the honor system in general? And that's really why the honor system, in my opinion, is one of the most crucial things that needs to be reworked. And obviously, I am not entirely sure what they're planning to do with the anti-griefing measures coming to the game. However, we know that they are coming, but I feel like these huge changes to the honor system would make it a lot better on Rockstar to kind of not implement maybe as many anti-griefing measures, instead of trying to think of new ways to prevent griefers from killing you ultimately, and other ways that we've also talked about in this video. You can simply just make these huge changes to the honor system, and that would fix I would say that would fix 90% of the problems in Red Dead Online. But you can let me know what you think about all of these changes, all of my changes and fixes and additions to Red Dead and Red Dead Online in the comments below. And it's been a long video, a long ride, but I hope you did enjoy it because there was a lot to talk about in this video. And I will see you on the next one. This is Ninja Geek. I'm out, and peace.